everybody, I'm Stella Chung, and this is the Weekly Fix, the show where we round up all the gaming and entertainment headlines you may have missed this week. Bethesda has announced that Fallout 4 will get a next-gen upgrade in 2023, plus Bayonetta's former voice actor has released a new statement regarding her absence from Bayonetta 3. In the entertainment world, Henry Cavill is back as Superman, and James Gunn is now the new co-CEO of DC Films. Oh shoot! Watch out everyone, it's Newsin' time! Bethesda has announced that Fallout 4 is coming to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S with an official upgrade next year. The long-awaited free update is also coming to PC. Fallout 4 was originally released back in 2015. Arriving 8 years later, the update includes a performance mode that allows for higher frame rates, a quality mode for 4K graphics, plus bug fixes and more Creation Club content, which is Bethesda's official mod support. We don't have a specific release date for Fallout 4's next-gen update or a full list of features, but we would hope it includes console-specific upgrades such as the use of PlayStation 5's haptic feedback. It may be the only new Fallout update for a while, as Bethesda has said it won't release Fallout 5 until after Elder Scrolls 6, which in turn is coming after 2023's Starfield. Moving on, the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection arrived on PC last week, but it seems to have received a somewhat cooler reception than other PlayStation first-party games that were ported to PC. So far, the max player count has been recorded as 10,851 on SteamDB. For comparison, Horizon Zero Dawn caught just over 56,000 players near launch, God of War summoned 73,000, and even Days Gone had 27,000 max concurrents. Comparing Uncharted to other recent Steam releases, Persona 5 Royal has peaked at 35k players and Gotham Knights at 24k. So it does seem like PC gamer interest in Uncharted is lower than with other PlayStation releases. It could be because the collection contains the two most recent releases in the Uncharted franchise, and PC players who've never played as Nathan Drake and friends might be cautious of jumping in at the end of the saga. But why do you think Uncharted is off to a slow start on PC? Let me know in the comments. Former Bayonetta voice actress Helena Taylor has taken to Twitter again to defend herself against the claims that she is a liar and gold digger in the ongoing controversy surrounding Bayonetta 3 and the payment she claims she was offered for reprising her role. Last weekend, Taylor vented frustration at allegedly being offered just $4,000 to voice Bayonetta in the upcoming game. She also urged players to participate in a boycott. Following this, articles from Bloomberg and VGC, which cited multiple sources and documentation, contradicted Taylor's account of what she was offered. The report suggested that Bayonetta developer Platinum Games had attempted to hire Taylor for up to 5 4-hour sessions, paying between $3,000 and $4,000 a sitting. The total fee would have amounted to roughly $15,000, which was significantly more than Taylor had been paid for previous games, according to the VGC. Taylor had reportedly turned this offer down and sought a 6-figure sum and residual payments in exchange for her involvement. Now, yesterday, the actress released a new statement in which she sought to defend herself and her reputation in the industry. She states now that the initial offer from Platinum Games, which she rejected, would have amounted to $10,000 in total, and that following her correspondence with Hideki Kamiya, she was offered an additional $5,000. Taylor says she declined the $15,000 and 11 months later also turned down an offer of $4,000 to voice some lines as a flat fee. According to Taylor, claims that she was offered $4,000 for 5 recording sessions are, in her words, total fabrications. Furthermore, she denies that she negotiated for a 6-figure payment. The actress also said she was paid a shockingly low £3,000 sterling for the original Bayonetta game and only a little more for Bayonetta 2. But her own words do contradict her initial claim that she was offered just $4,000 for Bayonetta 3. While her initial plea last weekend garnered her a lot of sympathy in the gaming community, much of that seems to have been lost now. Most of the top comments on this article on IGN are about how they can't take Taylor's claims at face value anymore. In any case, what is clear is that voice actors are hugely important members of the gaming community, and they do deserve to be fairly compensated for their contributions to this $220 billion industry.
Remember a few weeks ago when CD Projekt Red outlined what they were doing with the Witcher license, and they had a bunch of vague descriptions of upcoming games with astronomy-themed codenames? One of them was Canis Majoris, which CDPR described as, quote, a full-fledged Witcher game separate to the new Witcher saga. Ooh. Mysterious. Well, now we know what it is, and it's a full-on remake of The Witcher 1, developed by fellow Polish studio Fool's Theory and made in Unreal Engine 5. Via an announcement post on their website, CDPR head of studio Adam Badowski said, quote, "Some of the people at Fool's Theory have been previously involved in the Witcher games. They know the source material well. They know how much gamers have been looking forward to seeing the remake happen, and they know how to make incredible and ambitious games." The original Witcher game was developed and published by CD Projekt Red way back in 2007 and was built on the Aurora engine, which was developed by BioWare. The game plays differently from the most recent Witcher game, the IGN Game of the Year 2015 winner, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, but a lot of the foundation is there. If you haven't played the first Witcher game and don't want to wait for the remake, the enhanced edition of the game is on sale right now on Steam for a very inexpensive $1.50, which in today's inflation-plagued economy is almost literally a steal. Moving on, Rocksteady co-founders Jamie Walker and Sefton Hill are leaving the company. The departure was announced via an open letter from WB Interactive president David Haddad, who said, quote, "With Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League nearly finished, they have both decided to leave Rocksteady at the end of 2022 and will begin a new adventure in gaming." Rocksteady was founded in 2004 with their first published title being Urban Chaos: Riot Response for the PS2 and original Xbox. But they made their mark on the gaming industry with their next game, Batman Arkham Asylum, which almost single-handedly changed the face of character action games with their free-flow combat system. It allows the player as Batman to take on groups of enemies in hand-to-hand combat, free-flowing from one opponent to another. Its influence is clearly felt in another superhero action game, Marvel's Spider-Man. Rocksteady's next game is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is set in the same continuity as the Batman Arkham games, but will be the first where Batman isn't a playable character. It'll be out sometime next year for current-gen consoles. Best of luck to Sefton Hill and Jamie Walker, and hopefully their departure isn't some ill omen regarding the development of the Suicide Squad game.
Yesterday's Resident Evil showcase revealed more details on RE4's remake, prompting many to ask if Capcom was continuing the remake efforts on other classic titles. According to an interview with Noisy Pixel, producer Yoshiaki Hirabayashi was asked if the publisher was considering remaking other classic Resident Evil titles, specifically Resident Evil Code Veronica. Hirabayashi's response was that he and his team were currently focusing all their efforts on the development of the Resident Evil 4 remake to ensure it launches at its best, but did not mention there was no concrete plans to develop a Resident Evil Code Veronica remake. However, Hirabayashi did continue with the sentiment that if the opportunity comes, maybe. It makes perfect sense that Hirabayashi and his team would focus on RE4 Remake as its release date is fast approaching. Though depending on the fans' response and demand, who knows if we'll persuade Capcom to remake Code Veronica. Would you want a Code Veronica remake, or is there another Resident Evil title you want to get the remake treatment? Let me know in the comments, but otherwise, make sure to pick up Resident Evil 4 Remake when it comes out March 24th, 2023 for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Moving on, Nintendo Switch owners may be experiencing Christmas a bit early this year as a bunch of older games are coming to the platform. For starters, Digimon World Next Order will be coming to Switch as well as PC by way of Steam. The Monster Raising Training JRPG was originally released on the PlayStation Vita in 2016, then ported to the PlayStation 4 in 2017, and will finally get its Switch and Steam worldwide release on February 22nd, 2023. If you're looking to kill time until then, the first 2 Mario Party games will be coming to the Nintendo Switch Online subscription service on November 2nd. Originally released for the Nintendo 64 in 1998 and 1999, these minigame collections are a great addition right before the holidays. And the brutally unfair scoring system is a great way to have your whole family get into an argument. The big question now is if playing that fishing minigame using the Switch's Joy-Cons will cause as many hand injuries as the 64 controller did. Either way, you might want to wear gloves. Just saying. Super Smash Bros. Creator Masahiro Sakurai unveiled footage from the game's original Nintendo 64 prototype, and it's surprisingly polished. Sakurai's footage is technically for a project titled Dragon King, the fighting game, but that would later become the basis for Super Smash Bros. Sakurai explained the game initially had no special moves, dodges, or even items yet, but the game's rules were basically the same as Smash Bros. The game includes smash attacks, mid-air jumps, shields, dashes, and 5-direction aerial attacks with a battlefield stage layout that could be changed. Initially, Sakurai used generic fighting game-style characters to avoid flooding the market with a loadout of new fighters people would be unfamiliar with. Even with a limited model configuration, the Dragon King prototype was well received by Nintendo, and Sakurai convinced the company to let his team borrow their most popular characters to replace the generic fighters. Nintendo clearly made the right decision here, and Smash Bros. Has since grown to be one of its most popular series. Sakurai also explained the reasoning behind Smash's easy-to-pick-up controls. I came up with the idea for this game in 1996, around when command inputs for fighting games were starting to get extremely complicated. Some of these were extremely intense, so I opted for simple controls with a stick direction and a button, something players could intuitively pick up. When it came to the easily accessible Smash input, Sakurai commented, "With just a quick flick, you can unleash a stronger attack or jump. I came up with this after thinking about how best to utilize the N64's new analog stick." After all his hard work on the Smash series, Sakurai really deserves a long vacation. But we're extremely grateful he's decided to spend his time making insightful videos like this one instead.
It's time to take a quick break. When we come back, the Simpsons have hired the animation studio behind Death Note for this year's Treehouse of Horror. And Henry Cavill is making his DCEU return. See you in a bit. Welcome back. Following the exit of DC Films' former president, James Gunn and Peter Safran have been named as co-CEOs of the studio. But before that, The Rock had accidentally revealed it before, but it is now official. Henry Cavill is back as Superman. So up, and away, let's find out some more details. We try to be wary of spoilers, so if you haven't seen Black Adam yet, cover your ears because we're about to discuss one of its big reveals. Though, in our defense, it's already been spoiled by DC's official Twitter account and Dwayne Johnson himself. Following his much-publicized mid-credits cameo as Superman, Henry Cavill has revealed that yes, he's back. In a video posted to his Instagram, the actor explained, "I wanted to make it official. I am back as Superman." He went on to thank fans and promised that his appearance in Black Adam was just a taste of things to come. What's to come presumably is at least one new solo Superman movie. There are no writers or directors attached yet, but the internet has already started referring to it as Man of Steel 2, the potential sequel to the 2014 Zack Snyder film that kicked off the DCEU. Supposedly, Cavill's appearance in Black Adam was kept under wraps not just from the general public, but also from DC Films boss Walter Hamada. Hamada, who officially left WB last week, had previously nixed the idea of a Superman cameo in Black Adam, citing other future plans for the character. However, Dwayne Johnson, who has the same manager as Cavill, went around Hamada's back and instead appealed to the recently appointed WB Films bosses Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdi, who gave him the go-ahead. What do you hope to see from Cavill's return? And should WB continue the story build-up from over the course of Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League, or should Supes get a fresh start? Maybe not a full reboot, but a fresh start with less baggage? Sound off in the comments. There's no telling whether the Superman cameo had anything to do with it, but Black Adam managed to come out on top at the box office this weekend, and considering it's been in the works for nearly a decade, that has got to be a sigh of relief for everyone involved. Raking in $67 million domestically and another $73 million overseas, the Dwayne Johnson passion project is proving to be one of his most lucrative movies to date, falling just short of The Mummy Returns' $68 million opening and the Fast and Furious movies. But as far as movies starring The Rock front and center go, Black Adam is Johnson's biggest hit to date. As for other DC movies, Black Adam thoroughly one-upped his longtime rival Shazam and made almost as big of a splash as 2018's Aquaman. However, the production budget was a staggering $195 million, not counting marketing. So despite his namesake Black Adam, he's not quite in the black yet. Clearly, moviegoers weren't scared off by Black Adam's lukewarm critical reception. IGN's own reviewer Joshua Yale gave it a 5 out of 10, calling it mediocre, which seems to be the general consensus among critics. That said, Black Adam also didn't have the stiffest of competition this weekend. The alternatives to a big-budget superhero blockbuster were the Julia Roberts, George Clooney rom-com Ticket to Paradise, the widely panned Halloween Ends, which also hit streaming at the same time, and the family-friendly musical reptile vehicle Lyle Lyle Crocodile.
WB Discovery has tapped director James Gunn to become co-CEO of DC Studios, a new division at Warner Bros. That will replace DC Films and oversee DC's film, TV, and animation projects. Gunn will focus on the creative side of the studio, while producer Peter Safran will handle the business and production elements. Gunn will also continue to direct projects exclusively for DC in his new role, while Safran will keep producing. Both now report to WB Discovery CEO David Zaslav directly. Which is crazy because Gunn's next projects to be released are both Marvel jams, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special and Guardians 3 next year. Gunn and Safran will have the top executive post overseeing DC movies, TV, and animations, which ends a months-long search for someone to replace outgoing boss Walter Hamada, who left the studio last week. Since the Warner Bros. Discovery merger, it's been looking for a new boss for DC Studios, someone who will occupy a Kevin Feige-like role and oversee an overall strategy for its movies. These appointments won't unify every DC project at WB Discovery. Todd Phillips' Joker 2 will not be under Gunn and Safran's studio, and Matt Reeves' The Batman universe may not go under them either. However, all future projects moving forward will be under the Two's DC Studios banner. So, what do you think? Are these the right men for the job? Do you trust James Gunn with your future DC movies and TV shows? The Suicide Squad and Peacemaker were both very good.
After 30 plus years on TV, The Simpsons has done just about everything. But for one of this year's Treehouse of Horror segments, America's favorite animated family is throwing the style guide out the window and going fully anime to parody the beloved series Death Note. And it certainly looks, well, noteworthy. One of the segments in the 33rd annual Halloween special is titled Death Tome. In it, Lisa comes across a magical notebook that allows her to kill anyone by writing down their cause of death, which is, of course, the same premise of the hit Death Note anime, based on the equally popular manga that turns 20 this year. Best of all, the segment actually looks like the anime. A Simpsons spin on Death Note would have been fun in the iconic Matt Groening cartoon style, but the producers went above and beyond by enlisting Dr. Movie, the Japanese studio that worked on the series that's being spoofed. An image was posted showing Homer and Marge's new look, and sharp-eyed Simpsons fans have already spotted cameos from Springfield regulars Disco Stu and Bart's classmates Sherry and Terry. There will likely be lots of Easter eggs to pick out when the episode premieres on October 30th. It's not exactly a high bar, but something tells me this will be better received by Death Note fans than Netflix's live-action adaptation. Hopefully they never attempt that again. Ha! Just kidding! There's a second live-action Death Note in the works! Anyway, speaking of live-action adaptations of beloved properties, we got our first look at Amazon's upcoming series based on the universe of the Fallout games. Posted on Prime Video's official Twitter to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the first Fallout, the image clearly shows a trio of vault dwellers watching as the silhouette of a fourth takes their first steps into the wasteland. While it's possible they're stepping into the vault, the placement of the Pip-Boy and holster would suggest otherwise. While we're nerding out about details, another notable one is that this is Vault 33 according to the numbers on the back of the jumpsuits, and based on Fallout lore that places it somewhere in the Mojave Desert. Vaults 19, 21, 22, and 34 all appeared in Fallout New Vegas, which took place in Nevada and California. At the very least, all known vaults numbered below 50 are in the western half of the US. The Fallout series is being written and partially directed by Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy, who were behind HBO's Westworld reboot, as well as the Prime Video adaptation of William Gibson's The Peripheral, which just premiered this month. Bethesda Studios head Todd Howard will be acting as executive producer on Fallout, and its cast includes Kyle MacLachlan, Ella Purnell, and Walton Goggins, who's apparently playing a ghoul. There's still no release date for Fallout, but when we hear more, we'll definitely keep you posted. Between this, HBO's The Last of Us, and Netflix's Horizon show, it seems like video game prestige TV might be the next big thing. The current big thing, of course, is still superhero movies, and Avatar director James Cameron shared a take on them we haven't exactly heard before. In an interview with the New York Times about the upcoming Avatar sequel, The Way of Water, Cameron explained that the main characters have matured since the first film took place and that they're less reckless now that they've got a family to look after, a level of responsibility that isn't true of certain superheroes. Cameron elaborated, quote, "When I look at these big spectacular films, I'm looking at you, Marvel and DC, it doesn't matter how old the characters are, they all act like they're in college. They have relationships, but they really don't. They never hang up their spurs because of their kids. The things that really ground us and give us power, love, and purpose, those characters don't experience it, and I think that's not the way to make movies." Whether or not you think that's the right way to make movies, Cameron does have a point. A handful of MCU characters have kids, but they're not exactly putting parenting first. Ant-Man's a felon who spends half his time in the quantum realm. Wanda had a psychotic break, held a town hostage with chaos magic, and manifested imaginary children to raise with her robot husband. Hawkeye is a great dad when he's not a murderous ninja vigilante or bailing on the family Christmas vacation to fight the Kingpin. And Tony Stark might love his daughter 3000, but she's also orphaned 6000. Does responsible parenting make for a better blockbuster movie? Well, we'll find out when Avatar: The Way of Water hits theaters on December 16th. And you can catch plenty more superpowered child endangerment in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania when it drops in February.
Now, Netflix is taking another stab at a live-action Death Note adaptation, this time making it a series. Now, the Duffer Brothers finally found themselves a writer and executive producer willing to attach their name to the soon-to-be canceled series in the name of Hala Abdel-Magid. Now, looking at her IMDb, it appears to be the most notable project Halia has been attached to write, but she's no stranger to working on things, with the Duffer Brothers, having worked on a previous Upside Down Pictures project for Netflix, The Talisman. You know what? Good for her, but bad for us fans of the anime. Now, much like Netflix did with the 2017 film adaptation of Death Note, this series has, I don't know, I'd have to say canceled after one season energy written all over it. Now, I am sure you all watching could care less how familiar someone claims to be with the manga and anime series. Like, Netflix has a proven track record of making horrible live-action anime adaptations. And while this live-action series will have nothing to do with the 2017 movie, the reputation Netflix has built up with making unsuccessful attempts at adapting anime still looms over its head. Now, those streaming subscriber dollars would be best spent on, I don't know, maybe continuing the original anime, making a spin-off of the anime, or re-envisioning the anime in animation form. What's up with this damn live action all the time? Now, Netflix really needs to just take a look at what they did with the original live action adaptation of Death Note and Cowboy Bebop, that particular series, as a case study to stop trying to make it work. Jeez. Now, but you know what? We inevitably have this, Yu Yu Hakusho, and that One Piece live-action adaptation to look forward to coming to Netflix, whether we like it or not. And spoiler alert, Netflix, we probably won't. Anyway, speaking of not liking something, the producer of Black Adam ain't too happy with the movie's biggest cameo being leaked to the internet. Hiram Garcia told Slash Film how frustrated he was about the leak, saying, quote, "You work so hard, but look, we understand that this ending and this dream, this family dream that we had to bring to life, we knew that it was going to have an effect on the fans that were just like, oh my God, we heard them begging for it for so long." And The Rock said when asked how he feels about this leak,
"It doesn't matter how you feel."
Well, that's kind of weird and kind of meta too, since he's talking to himself there. Anyways, well, what do y'all think about the leaked cameo? Excited for the movie? Comment down below and let's discuss.
The new trailer launched today for Apex Legends Season 15, or Eclipse, focused on the new map Broken Moon. This map is on the planet Boreas' moon called Clio. For the full lore breakdown, you can watch my video on Catalyst's origins to get caught up. Broken Moon is slightly larger than World's Edge, but not bigger than Stormpoint, which was about 10% bigger than World's Edge. The terrain is similar to World's Edge and Kings Canyon, and less inclined or cliffed, like in Stormpoint. Broken Moon incorporates a new railway system called the Zip Rail that is essentially like a transit network with predetermined stops in different points of interests, or POIs, on the map, and they have a faster speed of movement than normal zip lines. There are 16 POIs on the map, which sounds small, but the POIs are actually much larger in Broken Moon than other maps to reduce the effect of hot drops where every single team seems to drop in one location, and you have to scramble for loot. I fully expect the POI Perpetual Core to be the big hot drop location because it's a huge area with lots of zip rail escape options. In speaking with Respawn devs, Broken Moon had been in development since Season 8, which was about a year and a half ago, around when the Encore Arenas map was released. Apex Legends Season 15 Eclipse is set to release Tuesday, November 1st, so if you haven't finished your Battle Pass for the season yet, be sure to get that done before the new season drops.
I'm Stella Chung, and that was your weekly fix. We'll be back here next Saturday with more of the biggest gaming and entertainment news of the week. See you then.